Hey, good afternoon, everyone. So we will continue with our discussion this afternoon about our microbiology review. So we are already done with with mycology. Now we will proceed with the parasitology part of the discussion. So first question for parasitology, a 7-year-old child from a rural area presents to the clinic with complaints of chronic cough, intermittent abdominal pain, and decreased appetite. The child's mother mentions that he has had difficulty gaining weight despite adequate food intake. On physical examination, the child is malnourished but black. A stool exam reveals brown, marmorated eggs with a thick shell. Chest X-ray findings show transient pulmonary infiltrates, which the following is the most likely cause of this patient's condition. With this statement, we can identify already some specific details about what is the case all about. So for the answer for this one, since we are talking about a round mammaliated eggs with a thick shell, and there is possibly um, larval migration to the lungs, which presents with transient pulmonary infiltrates, we can say that this is a case of Ascaris lumbricoides. Okay, so remember that Ascaris lumbricoides is among or belongs to the nematode that can migrate to the lungs. No, the larva can migrate to the lungs. So as you can see here, we have here a memory aid. Now this one is coming from the top-notch reviewer, and these ones are the ones that you need to remember. Okay? So pag sinabi mong lung migration, ang tatandaan mo is abo. Yung English na abo is ash. So that's Ascaris strongyloides and hookworms. Pag sinabi mo namang unholy trinity, na ibig sabihin nito, if you are going to see Ascaris ova inside that sample, you need to look for other parasites, and that includes the hookworm and the trichuris. Okay? Pero, kapag ang tinatanong na naman is among the nematodes, what are the soil-transmitted helminths? You need to remember the mnemonic or the an acronym ATE, okay, or ATE. So, ate the soil or kinain niya ang soil. So, that's soil-transmitted helminths. That includes the Ascaris, that Trichuris, and the Enterobius. Okay? So just a review lang no, of the Ascaris lumbricoides. Remember that it's not the third larval stage that goes into the lungs, but it is the fourth larval stage. And also remember that the females are more or are larger compared to the males. And remember that the males has a curved posterior end as compared to the straight end na female. Okay? So we are going to see this one. No, you're going to see these different eggs. No, lahat ito sila Ascaris lumbricoides. But remember that among these eggs, the fertilized egg is the one that is, or the embryonated egg is the one that is the infective stage. Okay, yung fertilized, makikita mo lang yan siya sa stool, or sa may stool na nasa lupa. Okay, eventually the fertilized will become embryonated, and the embryonated will become the infective stage to the host, which is the man. Okay, so Doc, kapag makakain ako ng um, fertilized decorticated egg, if makakain ako nito, would I develop? Hindi. Hindi nga ka magkaka-develop. Kasi magkaka-develop ka lang ng infection ng ascaris if the embryonated ova will be ingested. It will become embryonated if that fertilized egg is exposed to the soil, to the moist environment of the soil. Okay? So kung tatanungin ka, napapahirapan ko yun ng board examiner, ano yung habitat, specific habitat ng Ascaris lumbricoides in the small intestine, that would be the ileum. Okay? So review lang natin para sa mga medtech dyan, you are going to see these kinds of images. Now, you have here a mammillated coating. This one is kapag meron ng parang um, kidney shape or ibang elongated siya, tapos na siya mga bizarre forms, that is the unfertilized egg. Okay? So the next question is, a 32-year-old farmer from a tropical region presents with complaints of progressive fatigue, dizziness, and pallor. He also reports an itchy rash on his feet that appeared a few weeks ago but has since revolved. Laboratory tests reveal microcytic hypochromic anemia and hypoalbuminemia. Stool examination shows thin-shelled oval eggs. Which of the following is the most likely positive organism? So dito pa lang, no, you are going to remove na, no, letter C because that is not a thin-shelled oval eggs. Okay? So ang iisipin mo lang dito would be the strongy, ancilo, and ancylostoma. Okay? But only one among these parasites can cause, no, can cause a microcytic hyperchromic anemia. Okay? So the correct answer for that one is letter B. So bakit hindi letter A? Because letter A, which is the strongyloides, no, it causes autoinfection and hyperinfection. However, unlike hookworms, it produces the rhabditiform larvae in stool instead of eggs. Okay, so hindi siya strongy, okay, because it cannot produce, no, uh, that's infection usually in immunocompetent patients. If tatanungin kayo sa board examination, what nematode is capable of um, doing opportunistic infection in an immunocompromised patient, ang sagot dyan is strongly stercoralis. Okay? So sa Ascaris lumbricoides naman, letter C, no? Though it causes the Loeffler syndrome, it does not cause blood loss or anemia. No? And also remember, it has a thick-shelled mammalian eggs rather than thin. The Brazilianse naman, on the other hand, this is an animal hookworm, and this is responsible of what we call the cutaneous larva migrans. So again, it does not enter the bloodstream or it does not cause anemia. Okay? So remember lang natin, kapag tatanungin ka, what is the method of incubating fecal material on a filter paper? Kapag meron ka nakitang filter paper at parang talks about hookworm, Harada Mori. Okay, madali siyang tandaan because H, Harada Mori, to the hookworm. Okay? So when you talk about cutaneous larva migrants naman, these are parasitic skin infection caused by animal hookworms. However, these animal hookworms cannot go inside the body, no, or it cannot proceed with the infection. So usually magkakaroon ka lang ng parang, no, parang migrants, okay? There is a cutaneous manifestation kasi hindi niya mapepenetrate. So yung Brazilianse, that is a cat hookworm. Yung Canainum naman, that is the dog hookworm. And remember, this can proceed or present as a ground itch, no, or dew itch. Okay? So, iba yung animal, iba din yung sa human. Okay? Cutaneous life of migrants is different from the human hookworms also. Okay? So just a review of the images na para naalay mo sulod sa inyong una-una when you um, remember things. Pag sinabi mong semilunar cutting plates, that's Necator americanus, no? So siya, kasi nakaplato. Ayan yung tatandaan nyo. Okay? Tapos yung duodenale naman, there is two fused large outer teeth. Okay? One and two. One and two. Okay? Yung Ancylostoma brasiliense naman, one pair of small inconspicuous teeth and one pair of large. Hindi lang natin makikita dito yung large. No? But there is one small, one large. Yung Canainum naman, on the other hand, it has three pairs of large equal-sized teeth. Okay? So, Americans, using plates. Duo, two. Canainum, okay, that's three. And Braziliense, one small, one pair of large. Okay? Yung sa bursa naman, the bursa among these hookworms that they will be using for copulation. Now, there is a bipartite dorsal race for the Necator americanus and the tripartite dorsal race naman for the duodenale. For the rest, hindi na ganun ka-distinguishable. Okay, so ito yung sinasabi ko na thin, no? Na thin ova, no? As you can see. No? So the next slide just shows the specific differences, among the different larvas of the hookworm and strongly. Basta ang tatandaan niyo lang dito is that, ganito lang. Kapag ang tinatanong, is hookworm and sterco, tapos tinatanong is the infective stage, you need to remember the letter F of the filariform. No? Infective, that's filariform. Filariform, infective. No? The diagnostic naman, okay, would be the RABD, D diagnostic. Okay? So, anong difference ng hookworm and strongyloides? Pag pointed yung tail, Now, usually that is a hookworm. Kapag meron siyang parang fork siya na nasa ano, indentation, that is the strongyloides. And remember, sheeted ang hookworm, hindi sheeted ang strongyloides. Mas mahaba ang genital primordium ng stercularis, no, no, SS, no, kaysa maliit naman yung bunganga niya. Okay, mas mahaba yung genital kaysa sa bunganga. Okay? So mga ano lang ni siya, we are just reviewing your basic knowledge in microbiology, you know, because you might think that you know everything, but when you board examinations, they will be focusing more on the cases. They will be focusing more on the clinical manifestations of that specific parasite. And ang ibibigay lang dyan na keyword for you, medtech is very small. Okay, so i-review lang natin siya. A 10-year-old child from a rural community is brought to the clinic due to chronic diarrhea, tenesmus, and rectal prolapse. Wala na. Okay, dito pa lang, no? If alam mo ang nagkakos ng rectal prolapse, you don't have to read the full case. Okay? So the correct answer for this one is trichuriasis. Okay? So pag may rectal prolapse ka nakita, that is automatic trichuris trichura. If hindi lumabas yung rectal prolapse pero nilabasan ka ng may nilabas na ito, okay? And this is the coconut cake rectum na sinasabi nila, okay? Yun din ay rectal prolapse. Okay? So coconut cake rectum is just the same to rectal prolapse. That is just a series of increased number of trichuris worm, adult worm in the colon, in the rectum, resulting to prolapse. Okay? So, pag may sinabing coconut cake rectum, isang-isa lang iisipin mo, that is rectal prolapse of trichuris tricura. Okay? Kasi yung lumabas sa board examination namin way back 2022 was not the rectal prolapse, it was the coconut cake rectum. Okay? So ito is general review lang ng nematodes. Pag sinabi mong pinworm, no, or sitworm, you're talking about the enterobius. Pag sinabi mong giant intestinal roundworm, that is Ascaris lumbricoides. Pag sinabi mong Trichuris trichuria, that's the whipworm kasi it looks like a whip. No? Yung N. americanus, since America, we're talking about America, that's New World. Kapag inisip mo naman yung Ascaris duodenale, that's the old world hookworm. Yung strongy, that's the threadworm. Yung capillaria, that's the pudok worm. It can be spelled by letter C or letter K. Okay? It's still um, acceptable. For the question naman na sino dyan, Doc, ang nasa large or small intestine, remember that there will only be two. Dalawa lang ang nasa large intestine, and that would be the T, the enterobius and the trichuris. Okay? So ano yung mga diagnostic stage? Usually, embryonated sa enterobius, rhabditiform sa strongy, and the mode of transmission most of the time is ingestion of embryonated egg, except the hookworm and the strongy because the mode of transmission is skin penetration by the filariform larva. Okay? So the life cycle, usually, alam natin yun. A 45-year-old male farmer from an abaca plantation presents with progressive unilateral leg swelling. Okay? Thickened skin over the past several years. Okay? Yan, dalawa. He also reports occasional episodes of fever and painful lymph node swelling in the inguinal region. Physical examination reveals gross enlargement of the right lower limb with hyperkeratosis and fibrosis characteristic of elephantiasis. Which of the following findings is most likely to confirm the diagnosis? Okay? So, akala mo confident ka na, no? That you're talking about filariasis, but the question is the diagnosis, the diagnostic test. So, the answer for this one is letter C. Okay, bakit hindi A, B, and D? Microfilariae, remember, exhibit nocturnal periodicity, meaning they are not present in the peripheral blood during the day. Usually, the collection time is between 8 p.m. to 4 p.m. or 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Okay? And hindi din letter B because Rhabditiform larvae are diagnostic of strong Listeriosis. And that parasite infects the intestine and does not cause lymphatic obstruction or elephantiasis. Yung letter D naman, you're talking here about Trichuris tricura. So again, yung sinabi ko, it talks about rectal prolapse, no, not lymphatic filariasis. So remember, no, you need to remember kung ano-ano yung differences specifically, no, specifically ng Wuchereria versus Bruglia. Yung Loa-Loa and Oncocerca, according to Dr. Belizario, when we met way back November 2024, it was not common here in the Philippines, so this is least among the diagnoses that you are to give in the practice. Okay? The one thing that you need to remember when you talk about filariasis would be the Wuchereria and the Bruglia. Ang sabi niya sa amin, para mas easy ma-understand, no, when you talk about Wuchereria, maganda because it's not kinky, it's smooth. Okay? Yung Wuchereria, maganda. Yung Bruglia, bati, so pangit. Okay? Because it's kinky, no, etc., etc. So ano yung differences? No? The mosquito vectors, the Kaa for the Wuchereria, Mansonia naman for the Brugia. Most of the time, it can present with scrotal lymphatic, yung Wuchereria, yung nasa Brugia naman would be the lymphatics. Okay? So dito natin mas madaling maintindihan. No? If you've been having difficulties memorizing the filarial worms, this is the easiest way. You need to remember first no, the Oncocerca and the Lua-Lua. So, sa morphology, mahirap kasi kapag i-memorize mo siya by words. So, tatandaan mo na lang yung keywords. Loa-Loa, no? Paulit-ulit siya. Loa-Loa. So, since paulit-ulit, no? Tatandaan mo that the nuclei in the tail end is 2. Okay? And the periodicity is diurnal. So, 2 words, 2 nuclei, and 2 episodes. Diurnal. Okay? Very easy to remember. Yung oncocerca naman, O, no? Equivalent to 0, it does not have any nuclei at the end of the tail. Okay? So, yan lang. Then, yung Wuchereria and Bruggia naman, no, and Loa-Loa, they are both sheeted. Yung Bruggia malayi, no, tatandaan mo, actually, very, ano na naman ko hindi ma-remember. Basta ang Bruggia 1, okay, ang Wuchereria Bancrofti 0. Okay? So, W4, wala. Ikaw na bahala kung paunsanin mo ang B for 1. Okay, basta ang W, wala nuclei sa tail. Remember, both of which are having nocturnal periodicity. Okay? So yung oncocerca lang yung skin snips lahat sa blood, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Especially for the WBL, the Wuchereria brugiae, the Loa-Loa. So let's start with the cestodes. So a 35-year-old man presents to the clinic with a complaint of passing whitish ribbon-like segments in his stool for the past 2 weeks. He denies any gastrointestinal symptoms but reports eating medium rare beef regularly. On stool examination, gravid poplitedes with 18 primary uterine branches are identified. Which of the following is the most likely causative organism? If medtech ka, ang una mong iisipin dito is the 18 primary uterine branches. Pero kahit hindi ka medtech at alam mo ang ginagawa mo sa buhay at alam mo magbasa ng case, you are only talking about here the beef. Okay? And the one parasite, you know, well, sorry. Now, yung sabi ko nga, na, if you are, even though you are not a medical technologist, you can still answer this question. No, kasi yung malalaman mo na dito, you know that this is a cystode. But the next clue mo dito is the uterine branches. No? Pero kung hindi mo yung alam yung uterine branches, pero alam mo yung beef, that is automatic. The correct answer is Taenia saginata. Okay? So, sa beef, that's Taenia saginata. So, letter A, hindi yun siya Taenia solium kasi no, you need to eat pork. Okay? Not beef. So, additionally, the gravid proctids only 5 to 10 lang. while the Saginata is a little bit more on the more side, that's 15 to 25. The dilatom, on the other hand, usually can get this one by eating raw or undercooked freshwater fish. No? And usually, ang tatandaan mo sa dilatom is the B12 deficiency. It can manifest with um, no? It can manifest with megaloblastic anemia. The Echinococcus granulosus naman, no? You're talking about cyst already, and you need ultrasound or CT scan to confirm if there is really a slow-growing cyst in the liver. Okay? So again, mas marami ang sa Saginata kaysa sa Solium. At there is a rostellum on the scolex of the taenia. Okay, remember lang. Remember nyo lang yan. So, isa din sa mga na-remember dito, no? Kasi lumabas ito way back, I don't know what year, yung sa previous board exams ko na copy. The tinea saginata is irritated by alcohol. That's why if you will drink a gin, you will remember you need to, you can drink a gin or an alcohol generally. No, there will be passage of proglutids. Okay, so again, it can result to the passage of proglutids. So ano yung transmission? Ingestion of underfood muesli, pork, or beef. Kapag yung eggs naman yung nakain mo, no? Ang magiging sakit eventually would be what? Cysticercosis. Okay? Pero yung cysticercosis naman, that's teniasis. Okay? Kasi yung eggs, if the man eats the eggs, this can really proceed to neurocysticercosis. Pero yung kapag cysticercosis at bovis lang naman, teniasis lang din yun siya. Okay, so these are differences. You can pause the video, no, so that you can read. Pero mas ano man guna siya, mas dali man guna siya tandaan na if you are not a medical technologist, you can utilize these kind of things kasi mas madali mo to siyang maaral compared sa top-notch na naka-enumerate man gud siya, wala man gud ang uban naka-tabulate specifically on the cestodes and the protozoan area. Okay? So a 45-year-old shepherd from a rural farming community presents with progressive right upper quadrant field and mild jaundice. So this patient denies any history of fever, weight loss, or gastrointestinal bleed. Imaging reveals a well-defined fluid cyst with the right lobe of the liver with multiple daughter cysts inside. The question now is, which of the following is the most appropriate next step in management? Remember that when you talk about Echinococcus species or Echinococcus granulosus, the most appropriate next step, especially example exemplified by this case, is surgical resection of the cyst. Okay? Pero you need to remember that yung BCD is not correct because first, yung praziquantel, hindi yan siya effective sa Echinococcus because the advised medication for Echinococcus infection is albendazole. So ang tatandaan nyo lang when you are talking about medications is kapag sa nematodes, okay, kapag nematodes, usually albendazole lang yan at mebendazole. Okay? Pero, yung mga filaria, no, yung diethyl carbamazine, okay, yung DEC. Tapos yung sa may um, Enterobius vermicularis, no, since you can see this one sa may puwet, no, Pyrantel pamuwet. Okay, PP. No, Pyrantel pamuwet. Okay, mauni siya ang mga unique lang yun. Pero when you talk about cestodes and trematodes, no, usually the treatment for this one is praziquantel, except except neurocysticercosis, which is albendazole, and echinococcus infection, which is albendazole. And also sa fasciola, no, fasciola hepatica infection, usually it's not praziquantel. You can also use treclabendazole. Kaya yun lang yun siya ang ano mo. Sa protozoans, automatic naman na metronidazole lahat. Okay? So, letter C, no, kailangan mo i-treat. And letter D, Now, corticosteroids are used to prevent anaphylaxis, but it is not used for the treatment of hydatid disease. Okay? So this one are just nice to know, no? You have the Dipylidium caninum, the double fork tapeworm, the Hymenoleucus diminuta, the rat tapeworm, the Nana, the dwarf tapeworm, which is the smallest tapeworm, and the Echinococcus multicularis is the honeycomb vesicles, etc., etc. Okay? Yung water lily sign, that's still Echinococcus in SPP, specifically multilocularis. Okay? So the most common taper in developed countries is the H. nana. The most common STH in developed countries is enterobius. Megaloblastic, usually dilatum. Microcytic naman, it's Necator americanus. Okay? So a 42-year-old man from the Philippines presents with a chronic productive cough, hemoptysis, and pleuritic chest pain. He reports a history of consuming raw or undercooked Sudna Telpusa filipina freshwater crabs during dinking sessions. Chest X-ray shows patchy infiltrates and cavitary lesions in the upper lung fields. Sputum examination reveals upper-pilated eggs with thickened shells. Which of the following is the most likely causative organism? Grabe na. Very easy kasi you're talking about the Paragonimus westermani. Kasi, Tunda filipina, no, is the one of the hosts of the Paragonimus westermani. Okay, that's the freshwater crab. So, hindi yan siya TB, no? Hindi din yan siya Aspergillus, no? Hindi din yan siya Echinococcus, even though they can present. Pero yung keyword mo talaga dun would be the Sundatel-Pusa filipina. So, review lang tayo, no? Do you have different flukes, no? Sa blood, sa lungs, sa intestines, and sa liver. Yung sa blood, no? You are talking about the Schistosoma spp. Yung sa lung, isa lang, Paragonimus. Yung sa intestine, you have two, the Fasciolopsis pusi and the Echinostoma ilocanum. And the liver naman, we have the Fasciola clonorchis opistorchis spp. Okay? So lahat ng treatment for the trematodes are praziquantel. Okay? So this one are just nice to know. So if you really wanted to study and memorize and top the board examinations, you can memorize this one. Okay? But remember, yung pinaka-common na lumalabas dito would be the first, yung sa Schistosoma japonicum, that's the Oncomelaniohopensis quadrasi. Second, sa may Schistosoma hematobium, that's the Bulinus. And sa Mansoni naman is the Bayum falaria. Paano mo matatandaan? Kapag may letter M, that's the Mansoni. Japonicum, di ba haba na siya, Haponicum hopensis. Okay? And sa hematobium, ako na bahala memorize na Bolinus. Okay? Doc, akala namin yung sundatil pusa yung answer, pero anti-melania pala. Okay? Yung snail yung pinag-uusapan, that's the first intermediate host for the Paragonimus. Pero yung second intermediate host, that would be yung Sundatalpusa Filipina, which is the crab. Okay? Lahat nandito, except for this, actually lahat nandito, snail, are um, species, or genus of the snails. Okay? Yung Limnea, yung Antimillania, etc., etc. A 34-year-old rice farmer from the Philippines presents with progressive abdominal distension, hepatomegaly, and splenomegaly. He reports a history of working in flooded fields barefoot. So there is a lace-like pattern consistent with clay pipe stem fibrosis. Yun na yun, ang keyword doon. No? Stool exam reveals oval eggs with a small lateral spine. And that is Japonicum. Dok, hindi ba na pwede din siyang small lateral span? Okay? So remember, no, proceed tayo with the next slide. Remember that a small lateral spine, na that's Japonicum, pwede din siyang no. Pero yung elongated prominent lateral spine, yung prominent, like malaki talaga, that is the Smansoni. Yung merong namang terminal spine, that is the hematobium. Okay? So ito yung mukha ng Oncomilania, ito yung mukha ng Bulinus, ito yung mukha ng Biomphalaria glabrata. Okay? So again, one of the most unique features of Cystosoma spp is its difference with the life cycle towards other trematodes. Remember that yung diagnostic um, diagnostic and infective stage mo dito are different as compared um, to the other trematodes. Okay? So usually, ano yung nagpe-penetrate? It's the tercaria. Okay? Magpe-penetrate. Then, yung diagnostic natin same. It would be the eggs. Okay? So, anong tatandaan mo dito? If meron kang makitang cercarial dermatitis or swimmer's itch, that's Cystosoma spp. Kapag naman Katayamas fever, usually, no? Since the eggs of the Cystosoma species, specifically Japonicum, are very immunogenic, it can result to increased release of yung mga cytokines natin, leading to fever. Okay? Yung Hepley reaction naman, that is just a granuloma formation, the reaction of the body towards the specific ova. Okay? A 42-year-old male from a rural village presents to the emergency department with severe right upper quadrant pain, high heat fever, and weight loss over the past month. He has a history of dysentery without fever a few months ago, but did not seek medical attention. On examination, he has tender hepatomegaly. Ultrasonography reveals solitary hypoechoic liver lesion in the posterior superior aspect of the right lobe. Aspiration yields a thick, brownish fluid resembling anchovy sauce. So alam mo na this is Entamoeba histolytica. Now the question is, which of the following is a major virulence factor responsible for the organism's pathogenicity? So ito are not the correct answer because the correct answer is letter A. Why? Remember in letter B that you are talking here about Schistosoma hematobium. So it's not amoebic liver abscess. Letter C naman, you're talking here about Schistosoma spp. So you know that it can infect using skin penetration, and this can result to hepatic intestinal or urinary cystosomiasis. It does not produce a flash-shaped ulcer or liver abscesses. With letter D naman, or prolactin motility causing bile duct obstruction, Taenia saginata, which are one of the examples of an actively motile proliferative organism, may enter the bile or the pancreatic ducts. Again, it does not result to liver abscess formation. So, this one, sa amoeba manggod, ang nagawas manggod sa among time would be the anchovy sauce lang, and the amoebic liver abscess. But the main reason for that one would be the galgalopin. Okay? So ano yung nagkakos ng primary amoebic PAM Naegleria? Okay? So ano yung nagkakos ng secondary? It's the histolytica. How do you remember this one? Primary, P or F, no? P or F, no? Fowleri, no? No, it sounds like primary, fowleri. And yung secondary naman, his secondary. Okay? Histolytica, secondary exam. Okay? So I hope makatabang-tabang po ng mga mnemonic na ginagmay no nga ma-retain sa inyong ulo for for a long period of time para maabot sa board exam. Okay? Medyo dugay-dugay pa man po good ang 2026. I know that this is way too early for a review, but again, remember that repetition is the key. So if you've been exposed to this one as early as now, you are going to be exposed again on the board reviews, and I hope that the retention is better on the second time around. Okay? A 50-year-old businessman recently returned from a trip to a rural area where he consumed untreated well water. He presents with bloody diarrhea without fever and cramping abdominal pain for the past week. Stool examination reveals trophozoites containing ingested RBCs. So yun pa lang, alam na alam mo na ang sagot. But the question now is, what is the most appropriate initial pharmacologic intervention for this patient? The correct answer for this one is metronidazole followed by the luxenide furoate. Why? Kasi di ba sabi ko, kapag when you are talking about protozoans already, isang isipin mo, that's metronidazole. Okay? Again, nagma-matter if what are the presentation of the patients. No? Kapag asymptomatic lang, you can just give piloxamide, iodoquinol, or paromomycin. But if there is active amoebic colitis, no, you can give metro or tinidazole plus a luminal agent. Kapag mayroon ng amoebic liver abscess, usually hindi na siya plus, no, followed by na. Okay? So, kailan mangyayari ang surgical drainage? If the abscess is 5 centimeters or greater, if they are in the left lobe, or if there is no clinical response to medical therapy. A 26-year-old male was brought to the emergency department with a sudden onset of high fever, headache, nausea, and confusion. His symptoms rapidly worsened, progressing to seizures and altered mental status. His history reveals that he recently swam in a hot spring. Lumbar puncture reveals, etc., etc. A wet mouth of CSF reveals motile tropozoites. Again, which of the following is the most appropriate pharmacologic intervention? No, confident ka. No, pero yung tanong is antibiotic. Okay, so the treatment for this one is amphotericin B plus miltefosine. So bakit hindi letter A? Remember that the pentamidine, is used for acanthamoeba infections. Naegleria fowleri requires amphotericin B, miltefosine, and supportive therapy. Yung praziquantel and albendazole naman, on the other hand, they are usually used for parasitic infections like neurocysto and cysto. Neurocyste and cysto. Yung acyclovir naman and corticosteroids, this is given in individuals having herpes simplex encephalitis, not the PAN, or the primary and meningoencephalitis. So review lang tayo, no? The treatment for Naegleria is different from acanthamoeba. Okay? A 29-year-old hiker presents to the clinic with a foul-smelling diarrhea, abdominal cramping, and excessive flatulence. He recalls drinking untreated stream water using his camping trip. His stool is greasy, non-bloody, and he reports unintentional weight loss. Stool microscopy reveals pear-shaped composites with 2 nuclei and 4 pairs of flagella. You know that this is Georgia, but the question is, which of the following is a key pathogenic mechanism of the causative organism? A. Cercarial penetration through the skin. B. Production of enterotoxin. C. Venous flattening and crypt hypertrophy. Letter D. Invasion of enterocytes leading to bloody diarrhea. So in the board examinations, micropara, ganito yung tirahan. No, this is the way the questions being asked. No, medyo two-step. You need first to diagnose, but the question is not about the diagnosis, usually on the treatment or the life cycle. The correct answer for this one is venous flattening and crypt hypertrophy. So bakit hindi letter A? Because it's not cystosoma. Yung letter B naman, you are talking about Vibrio cholerae. Yung letter D naman, it's about Entamoeba histolytica. Okay, di ba? Medyo challenging na yung mga protozoan parts. Okay? So a 36-year-old traveler returns from South America, hindi siya Sub-Saharan Africa, with a non-healing ulcer on his forearm. The lesion started as a small, painless papule but progressively ulcerated with raised indurated borders. He denies systemic symptoms such as fever or weight loss. Microscopic examination of a lesion scraping reveals intracellular amastigotes within macrophages. Which of the following is the most likely characteristic feature of the positive organism? The correct answer for this one is letter D. Why? Yung letter A, no? Leishmania exists as a mastigotes inside macrophages in humans. The flagellated promastigote form is found in the centralized, not in the human. Yung tapir nose naman, this is a characteristic of the mucocutaneous leishmaniasis, which is the Leishmania brasiliensis, which involves nasal cartilage destruction and chronic disfigurement, rather than a localized skin ulcer. Yung visceral leishmaniasis naman, no, that can result to Kala-Azar. This is not associated with an isolated cutaneous ulcer. So the best correct answer is letter D. So remember, no, yung ispundia that is resulting from mucocutaneous leishmaniasis, which is the Braziliensis. Yung Dodovani naman, that's the visceral or that can cause Kala-Azar. And the cutaneous naman, that is from L. tropica and L. mexicana. Ito parang napaka-familiar ng Kala-Azar. It sounds like Incystosoma. Katayama yun, okay? Kala-Azar is different from Katayama. Katayama is Cystosoma. Kala-Azar is visceral leishmaniasis, okay? So a 45-year-old man from rural South America presents with progressive dyspnea, palpitations, and bilateral lower limb swelling. He recalls being bitten by an insect while sleeping in the thatched house 20 years ago, etc., etc. Reveals dilated cardiomyopathy with apical aneurysm. The question now is, which of the following is a key characteristic of the causative organism? So the correct answer for this one is letter B. Why? No? Yung bite of the cheche, that's African. Okay? That causes sleeping sickness. Yung letter C naman, no? African trypanosomiasis naman din, no? Where the VSGs undergo antigenic variation leading to episodic fever strikes. So T-Cruzi does not exhibit this. Yung letter D naman, that is from the Spigabiense, no? This is the West African sleeping sickness, and um, this results to winter bottoms or the peakland. Pero hindi siya yung cardiomyopathy. What is the transmission? Okay, most of the time of the trypanosoma, it's the triatoma bite. No, the infective stage is the metacyclic trypomastigote, and yung diagnostic naman, it's trypomastigote. So ano yung specific disease na tinignan natin kanina? It's the Chagas disease, okay, of the T. cruzi. A 37-year-old aid worker recently returned from West Africa, etc., etc. Which of the following is the most appropriate treatment for the winter bottom sign caused by the West African sleeping sickness? That's eflornithine. Okay, so you need to familiarize yourself with the treatment because most of the time, kasi doktor na kasi tayo, hindi na tayo sa diagnostic part. So yung aspect din na i-memorize mo would be the drugs. No? Kasi on different subjects in the board examination, may it be pedia, IM, micro, lalabas yung pharma. Okay, you need to master pharma din kasi. Okay? So, this one are just nice to knows, no? Basta different ang ilahang treatment. Nakadepende ang treatment. Okay? So, you need to study the treatment especially for trypanosoma. So ito naman, no, a 28-year-old woman returns straight from West Africa, presents with hive, etc., etc. There is a ring-formed trophozoite and usually shows a Plasmodium vivax. Sinabi na. And the question lang is, which of the following stages of the Plasmodium life cycle responsible for patient's recurrent symptoms? Yung letter A, no, it does not cause recurrent symptoms. Yung letter B naman, hypnozoites can cause it usually presents with dormant liver stage parasite as a dormant liver stage parasite, but they usually cause relapse, but they do not cause cyclical fever pattern. Yung ookinete naman on the other hand, no, they are motile zygotes, no, in the mosquito meat, but usually involved in the sexual reproduction, but they usually are not present in humans. Okay. So review lang natin, no? Remember that the asexual phase of the malaria life cycle usually happens in a man, And the sexual phase occurs in the fan. Hindi yan siya a fan, no? The female Anopheles mosquito. Okay? The sporogony. So, basta tatandaan nyo lang, banana shape, you're talking about falciparum. Malaria, since it's a quartile, it usually presents 72 hours of its asexual cycle. Okay? So, ito din, no? When you go to the RHU already, one of the didactics would be the malaria kasi. So, i-review din natin dito siya. Pero ito kasi, iba-iba, no? Ang dili lang siya, ang ibalaan naman ko na to before was the doxycycline, doxycycline and the chloroquine lang. No? Pero iba-iba pala siya. Ha? So makikita mo din doon siya sa IM, so very important din siya. No? So yung i-review na lang natin would be the malaria dots. So sinabi mo Schaffner dots, no? That is the Vivax, no? Vilma Santos. Ferdinand Marcos, no? That's the falciparum murder dots. Yung Manila Zoo naman, it's for the malaria. Okay? A newborn male is delivered to etc. etc. A maternal history reveals that she had exposure to stray cats during pregnancy. So you're talking here about Toxoplasma gondii. Pero, lumabas to siya sa pedya. So anong question sa pedya? Which of the following best describes the most likely cause of this infant's condition? So we're talking about here what? The hydrocephalus, diffuse intracranial calcifications, and the chorioretinitis. Okay, actually nasabi, hindi ko na-delete. Okay? Pero yung point lang dito is that Toxoplasma gondii would result to what disease is this? Yeah? May specific, ano yun siya? Specific triad. But this one, hindi siya letter A because it's not the triad, no, of the Toxoplasma. Yung letter B, usually the CMV, and yung letter C naman, it's the T. pallidum or the syphilis. Okay? So remember, no, the triad of hydrocephalus, diffuse, etc., etc., is the Toxoplasma gondii. Yung rubella naman, etc., etc., CMV, etc. So mga nice to knows na naman ganun sila, no? Mga congenital infection na syndromes. So that's 47 minutes, no? Medyo mabilis lang. Review lang tayo kasi para at least ma-boost lang tong inyong knowledge, no? Mga na-learning mo. So for our next week, we are going to have virology, no? And the next week would be bacteriology. Okay? So thank you for listening for the first 48 minutes of your life. I'm recording this at a very more early morning. Yung mo nang medyo sabog na sa duty. Okay? So once again, good day and study well, everybody.